wouldn't it kind of be funny if we got the worst movie of the year, but we got it at the beginning of the year in February? Well, what we're talking about Madam Web, and that's exactly what this is. This had the same people that worked on Morbius, people that worked on the freaking Egypt action movie or whatever. This movie is an absolute mess. There's so much wrong with it. You've heard it talked about before. I'm going to talk about the good, the bad, the okay, and so on and so forth. And yeah, so let's start off with the characters. Dakota Johnson does not even really a performance. At the point in this movie, she's really just playing Dakota Johnson. I really only felt like she actually cared about what she was saying when she said one word. At a baby shower, they were playing games and she said games. That's the only scene I thought she actually cared in the whole movie. And most other than that, she publicly trashed the movie. Anyways, so remember those costumes that we saw in the trailer? Not here. Yeah, remember? Yeah, well, they are here, but they're total. They have 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes at most. This movie is bad. If we would have actually gotten to see the costumes and how they got the costumes, I think this movie would have been better. To be honest, I think it would have actually taken it out of the bad, because instead of seeing it in a few flashbacks that the villain sees, you actually get to see the suits in action. Speaking of the villain, there's an actor that, doesn't really speak English. So then, they had a different actor speak for him, but it's ad-libbed not ad-libbed, but it's done so poorly to where it will look like somebody else is saying the lines while the actor is doing the thing. It doesn't, the lips don't match up, nothing matches up. So it just creates a mess. And when I first watched it, I was like, huh. And then I kept watching it. Every time the villain was on screen, I was like, huh. And I was just like, okay, yeah, okay. Now, I will admit that the villain's costume is kind of cool, but I don't know how well he fits into it. I mean, he looks a little bit bulky in the suit, but hey, I don't know if that's the thing they were going for. Yeah, we gotta get a post-credit scene, and, it wasn't even post-credit scene. At the very end, we got to see what Madam Web actually looks like in the comics, which was cool. I mean, we're not getting a sequel to this. At least we probably won't. This movie's made $50 million on a budget of $100 million. This movie is not doing well. Anyway, so this movie has been trashed to death. So you know what? I'm gonna come out here and talk about 3 things I liked about the movie. 3 things I thought were average and above. So I'm gonna talk about Uncle Ben. Now, I feel like when people talk about this movie, they'll say, hey, this movie sucked, but you know who was pretty good? Uncle Ben. He plays a very, very good character, and the actor's great. He manages to pull off this performance really well, and he does a really good job. He's kind of funny in some scenes. He has some quips, gags, stupid things that make his character good. I really liked this character, and he helped create some noise in a mostly bleak and soundless space. Anyways, so another sequence I enjoyed was the cafe, and I enjoyed this sequence. This sequence was average and above because I thought one scene was okay where one of the spider people is on the ceiling, and then he picks them up off the ground. The camera switches, and then they're thrown against the wall. I guess that's kind of cool and not very clever, but that's just cool. And there's this other scene where there's this car chase, which is something. You know what? Here's the thing. I'm not even gonna say this is a spoiler review, because I mean, why would you not want this movie to be spoiled for you? This movie is awful. It's absolutely horrendous. And here's the thing. Morbius knew what it was in for. It wasn't taking itself so seriously. It got into the category where it was so bad it actually started to become good. For this movie, it takes itself insanely seriously, and there's nothing bad or good about it. Or no, there's nothing good. It's just bad. And also, like, whenever something bad happens to her, it goes back in time, and she was like, let's try that again. And then she does the same thing, which technically makes her immortal. Because think about it. Every time she's about to die, she goes back in time again and redoes that sequence. So, like, there's this time where she gets stabbed, and it would have killed her. But then it makes her go back in time, so then she didn't die. So would that just happen in endless loops? Like, say this ends up leading on to a big battle, and then, like, she gets, like, this killing blow, and then boom, we get to see actually we went back in time and she actually survived. I don't know. It's just a little nitpick that I don't know if they really thought about. Then again, I don't know if they thought about a lot when they actually made this movie. Anyway, so this is Madame Web. It's a definite 2 out of 10. Yeah, so what would that be, a 1.5 out of 5? I don't know. Anyways, guys, that's just my thoughts on Madame Web. If you all enjoyed this video or any of my other content, please consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next one.